Techna Incorporated presents The Past and the Future collide for a better tomorrow.
Ooh, how cool is that? Welcome to a very special episode of DBL Today. We are taking a look at the future and what we can expect in the next 50 years in all areas of life, from beauty to fashion to food to technology. We'll also be looking at things from the past that predicted what the world would look like in the year 2000 and beyond. And of course, we've got our very own Dr. Payal Kohli here to talk about the future of medicine. But first, I want to kind of just briefly go around the horn, starting with you, Dr. Kohli. Does the future scare you or excite you?
Oh, I am so excited. I feel like we've already made so much tremendous progress in medicine, and I cannot wait for what the future of medicine brings.
Jeffrey?
Optimistic. Yes, having children, I'm a little concerned, but I'm going to stick with Dr. Kohli. Be positive. I am looking forward to the future.
Okay, Erica?
I stay optimistic, but I think there's always something a little scary about the fear of the unknown.
Okay.
You know?
Albert?
I'm excited. Look at AI and how it's changed everything. So I can't wait to see what our kids do with it.
That's what's concerning me. I'm nervous about AI. I'm nervous about AI, but I'm also excited about all the possibilities of progress. So let's start with the future of medicine with Dr. Kohli. Lots to talk about here.
All right, I got one for you, Doc. Okay, the movie Gattaca talked about gene editing. Okay, back then people are like, what? But what is gene editing, and is this something that is possible in the future? How does that work?
Yeah, I saw this movie when I was in high school back in the 90s. You guys remember? Yeah, Jude Law, we edited his genes. We selected out popular genes to edit. But gene editing is actually not as far from the future as we think. In fact, we're doing it right now. So you think about our genes, these are our DNA, it's what we're born with. How it gets turned on is actually within our control. And the concept here is to prevent disease before it ever even occurs. Because if I took your gene, let's say you had a bad gene, and I put a typo into it, which I have the ability to do now with an IV infusion, that gene will never get turned on, that disease will never manifest itself. And last year, we actually approved this technology for sickle cell anemia, which is a condition that disproportionately affects African Americans. Now we're working on it for cholesterol. Wow. So imagine if you never have to take a cholesterol pill, because I turn off your cholesterol gene when you're in your teens, and for the rest of your life it stays off.
Oh my gosh.
Is it too late to do that?
It's not approved yet, Dr. Jackson, but we're working on it. But
I might have a few genes for Jeffrey that you can turn off.
Which
How
one?
about Sam and her mom gene?
That was good.
Wow.
Yeah,
All
he
right.
meant the denim ones. That was good. Good job.
How about this, Doc? Cancer. Let's use that as an example. Would we be able to eliminate that from our genes?
So that's a tougher one, Jeff, because cancer, as you can imagine, is usually many different genes going bad or problems with our cells. Now, there's some cancers, like breast cancer with BRCA, the BRCA gene. It's a single gene cancer. That may be a great candidate. But most of the times we get cancer because as our cells are dividing, they make mistakes. And those mistakes accumulate over time and lead to tumor growth. So we really can't turn off cancer genes as much as we can, unless it's caused by a single specific gene problem. But cancer vaccines is very interesting, and that's where I'm really optimistic, because cancers that are caused by viruses like HPV, human papillomavirus, or hepatitis virus that causes liver cancer, HPV causes cervical cancer. What if you were able to vaccinate somebody against that virus and then they don't get that cancer?
Wow. So much. We could save so many people from suffering and loss of life. That's amazing.
Yeah. And Sam expressed a little concern about AI earlier, but how will AI actually benefit the medical community?
It really has already tremendously. And I think the biggest thing is AI's diagnostic accuracy. It's just much better at reading scans and images, MRIs, X-rays than we are. So think about mammograms, right? We do thousands of them every year. AI can read thousands in a day with more accuracy. Okay, so think about me in the office. I'm writing a prescription for a medication, and I say you might get this side effect, this side effect, this side effect. What if AI could tell me, based on your genetics, based on your background and your lifestyle, what your probability is of getting which side effect, to make me smarter in how I write those medications? We've talked before about how cancer is now occurring in younger people. I can't tell you why. AI can look at population trends and tell me why are we getting more cancers in younger people. So I think the future is really infinite for AI in medicine.
Amazing.
Well, I think I speak for all of us when I say that one of the things that's on all of our minds as we get older is Alzheimer's and dementia. Please tell us that we're any closer to finding a treatment?
Well, you know, with Alzheimer's, we actually already have a treatment, and you may have heard of it. It's called Leqembi. The problem with this treatment, two things. One, you have to actually start manifesting the cognitive dysfunction before you're eligible for the treatment. Second, it doesn't reverse the disease. It just slows the progression of the disease. So it's almost like we're catching it too late. The horse is out of the barn. So we have to go upstream. So what I'm really hopeful for, and this is also something that's looming on the horizon, is a blood test that tells us if we're going to go on to develop Alzheimer's, and there's already one that's in the works. The problem with it we have right now is not everybody who tests positive actually ends up getting Alzheimer's. But if we were smarter in how we interpreted the blood test, combined it with brain imaging, and we could start detecting Alzheimer's before you have symptoms from it. Now we're talking about earlier treatments. We're talking about changing the course of the disease before those plaques, which is what happens in Alzheimer's, get deposited in the brain. So now you're looking at a much better prognosis.
Wow, unbelievable.
See, the future is not all bad.
You're right. Thank you, Dr. Coley, for joining us as always. In DBL Nation, you can follow Dr. Coley on social media at Payal Coley MD. Also, be sure to subscribe to her YouTube page. Plus, check out her podcast, Heart of Medicine, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thank you again, Dr.